Good morning. That was one of the best sleeps I've had for a while. I slept like a log. Nice and refreshed, ready to go again. It's day 2 in Berlin. It's a Saturday today, so I don't know if there's going to be any more sort of weekend vibes, anything different compared to Friday. Although yesterday was pretty mad anyway. Today is, looks like it's going to be another glorious day. Lots of sunshine, pretty warm. So I think, again, we're going to spend most of our time outside. We saw quite a few things yesterday, like it was a big day. But there's still so much more to see. Like, the city is huge. There's so many different parts of it. So yeah, just more exploring outside, really.
Good morning. How did you sleep?
Yeah, it was good. Not enough.
Not enough sleep. Still tired?
I'm still tired.
Still
But
tired.
I'm also hungry.
Yeah. What are we doing for breakfast?
Little?
Little?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I need to get sun cream.
Yeah. And fruit.
Let's get some fruit. Let's be healthy. After the abomination of currywurst last night.
All we've been having is just meat and carbs and meat.
Yeah, it's the German
But
way.
it's good.
Water. That's what we learned yesterday. Yeah, yesterday we were walking around all day in the sun.
Oh wow.
Not really enough water. So.
I did you have like a sunburn?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Because I'm English, like.
But now you had something on your skin?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's so strong now.
Yeah, I didn't realise, but I burn really easy because I'm English, so it's like.
Another trip for all you travellers out there. If you want to save a little bit of money, then heading to a supermarket like Lidl is a great idea.
Let's see what's going on in Lidl. Need some milk. Have you seen that vine? Oh my god. He needs some milk.
He needs some milk.
I'm going all out on the apple orange banana combination.
Along with all your usual sort of groceries and everything you need, they've got a really nice bakery section.
I've just got 2, so I'm good.
No, you didn't mean to do that.
I guess I'm gonna have to have 2. And sun cream. For kids. I'm a big kid.
When you're travelling, sometimes you got to save a bit of dollar. May not be quite as glamorous as Zoetverbrot, but it's really cheap. What was it like? €3 for yours. It would have been €3 for mine as well, but obviously I had to get some cream. So even then it was like $4.79. So if you're looking for a cheap breakfast, go to Lidl. After our romantic bite to eat in the tram stop, we headed over to Alexanderplatz.
Sind die Schuhe Springer und die Frisur ist ohne, dann interessiert mich das just nicht die Bohne. Ist die Frau ne geile, doch die Chance ne Fatane. Dann ist mir das eher Banane. Ist Banane, ist sie auf, ist sie auf. Ist sie auf nen anderen Typen geil, interessiert mich nicht, weil warum sollte es, sie wollte es nicht anders.
Okay, so this... Do you want to just follow me around as I'm here? This is Alexanderplatz, which is like one of the main public squares, sort of like a place where everyone can just kind of gather, I guess.
Lots of shop.
Yeah, there's tons of shop, and yeah, in Alexanderplatz you've got the world famous? I don't know.
Famous world clock.
The clock. There's a world clock in Alexanderplatz, and there's also the TV tower. Where am I going? TV tower. We're probably going to go up that later.
Egal, mir ist wieder mal alles scheißegal. Ist mir egal, mir ist wieder mal alles scheißegal. Ist mir egal, mir ist wieder mal alles scheißegal. Ist mir egal, mir ist wieder mal alles. Doch jetzt bin ich bereit, ne Zeit zu fliegen.
Just around the corner from Alexanderplatz is another landmark, the Berliner Dom. Finished in 1905,
the current building is seriously impressive, rising up from the River Spree to dominate the Berlin skyline with its huge dome. The architecture is bold and grand, an icon of this city.
Is it a banger?
Yeah, I think so.
Certified banger. The banger dom.
Again, like the Reichstag building, I'm not really an architecture guy, I'm not really a religious kind of guy, but...
Not really anything.
Shut up. I can appreciate a good building, and every world city needs like a sick cathedral.
Yeah, that's true.
That does the job. It's absolutely huge. Can you inside?
Yeah.
If religion is your thing, then there are definitely better cities to explore and visit in Europe. But this building, whoo! Wow, the inside of it was just mind-blowing. I wasn't really sure what I was expecting, but it wasn't this. It was just this huge open space, just sort of lifting all the way up into what felt like the heavens. Maybe that's what they were going for. It's a church. The dome had, unsurprisingly, been destroyed during the Allied bombing from World War II. Whoever took the time to rebuild this, very good job. The art and detail of the roof is exquisite. Literally, like, every person in there was just looking up like...
This place is insane. Absolutely insane.
Of course, being the tourist that I am, I'm looking up at it and thinking, I bet there's a pretty good view from up there. To reach the top, you have to ascend 270 steps. For a good 5 minutes, you'll just be walking up and up and up.
There's a lot of steps.
But with great effort comes great reward. At 50 meters above the city, you can see everything. Berliner Dom is not the only piece of grand architecture in this part of the city. Based on Museum Island, it is situated right next to a load of museums. Duh, Museum Island. There are a ton of different art galleries and museums to explore here. Each one is beautiful, grand, and full to the brim with artifacts and history.
Okay, I'm gonna come quite close, I think.
You could quite easily spend 4 or 5 hours just walking around one of these museums. Like, there is a lot to do here. This was time we did not have. we were hungry, and I could think of no better place to eat than Burgermeister.
Die leiseste Ahnung, kennst das alles nur vom Hörensagen. Wir haben einiges in Planung, drauf kannst du Gift nehmen oder Bjorn fragen.
Sat in the shadows under the subway tracks in the old public toilet is one of Berlin's worst kept secrets. Not just a burger joint, but an institution. Here, as the trains rumble ominously overhead, tourists and Berliners from all walks of life come together in worship to the gods of food. Naturally, the queue is huge.
Between last night at Mustafa's and today at Burgermeister, quickly realising that if you want the good food, you're going to have to queue.
What's on TripAdvisor? You're gonna have to wait.
Yeah, you're going to have to wait in the queue. We've been here about 20 minutes already. We're getting there. I hope this is worth it.
It was pretty agonising, stood in that queue waiting for what turned out to be nearly an hour. You could see these people up ahead of you sitting at the tables and they were getting that first bite. It was like torture. You just got hungrier and hungrier and hungrier until you were craving it. And eventually we did get to the front.
Hey, can I have the Meister à la Klasse? Cheese fries with bacon and onion. And one beer, please.
I butchered the German language, but I came away with our food regardless.
Wow.
Alright, food is finally here. We got chips, bacon, onion, cheese. I've gone for this master of all classes. What did you get? Cheeseburger. Look how good this looks. I can't wait to get stuck into this. We waited about an hour. It should be worth the wait.
Bit of beer. I'm just going to get stuck into this.
All of this came to €29, so around €15 each. And we were in heaven.
Holy shit. So good.
I'd love to try and explain to you how good this tasted, but I really wouldn't do it justice. It's one of those things you'll just have to find out for yourself.
Okay, just had our Burgermeister. We waited an hour, but what was the verdict?
Wow.
Wow. No, that was like...
Wow.
I'm giving... It was insane.
It was.
I think that was the best burger I've ever had. I'm giving it a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, and we had cheesy chips.
Yeah. Onion,
Those are really
bacon, beer. So good. That's 10 out of 10 for me. I don't think anything's going to beat that.
10 out of 10. I think, yeah.
10 out of 10.
Blechmüller baut ein Haus fürs neue Jahrtausend. Wo sind meine Leute da draußen? Baby, pflanzen Baum für das neue Jahrtausend. Auf jeden Fall. Wo sind meine Leute da draußen?
Okay, we are now on the River Spree. Behind me, over there, is the Oberbaum Bridge. It's pretty famous. What does Oberbaum mean?
Baum is tree. Ober is over. Oh, but there's no...
Over the... Are you
over
sure?
the tree.
Interesting.
There's no trees there.
Anyway, it's called Oberbaum Bridge. Looks dead pretty with the little yellow trains going across it, so we get some pictures there.
The name does actually mean something like up a tree bridge, because Baum in German is tree. So fair play to Leyla. In its early days as a crossing, a huge tree trunk covered in metal spikes was used as a boom to block the river at night, preventing smuggling. In 1896, the Grand Bridge you see today was opened. During the Cold War, the bridge became part of the east-west border. It was basically on the Berlin Wall itself, and it became a key crossing point for Western Berliners who were passing into the east and back. On the east side of the bridge and river is the start of the East Side Gallery. At 1.3 kilometers long, it's the longest remaining piece of the Berlin Wall. Juxtaposed with the memorial that we had visited yesterday, the East Side Gallery showed us how Berliners had conquered and reclaimed the wall. It was theirs now. Throughout the Cold War, the wall had been the symbol, the physical embodiment of oppression. It stood against everything a free and just world wanted. Over the decades, American presidents had made famous speeches denouncing the wall and the ideology that had implemented it, including JFK's infamous 1963 Ich bin ein Berliner speech.
All free men, wherever they may live, are citizens of Berlin. And therefore, as a free man, I take pride in the word Ich bin ein Berliner.
In 1987, Ronald Reagan proclaimed,
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Sure enough, 2 years later, the wall came crumbling down. In the later 80s, pressure began to grow on the DDR. The Soviets' grip on power was beginning to loosen. Poland's communist government fell. Hungary dismantled its border with Austria, which allowed 13,000 East German tourists to escape to the west. And then, unthinkably, mass demonstrations in East Germany itself, particularly at Leipzig's St. Nicholas Church. On November 4th, 1989, over 500,000 people protested in Alexanderplatz. The game was up for the DDR. The peaceful revolution could not be stopped. Back in January, the longtime leader of East Germany, Erich Honecker, had famously claimed that the wall would stand for another 100 years. On October 18th, he had resigned. With the backdrop of the protests and thousands of East German refugees now making their way into the West through satellite states, a decision was made. Refugees were to be allowed to exit directly through crossing points between East Germany and West Germany, including between East and West Berlin. What happened next is one of the most famous press conferences in the world. Gunter Schabowski announced the new regulations. However, he hadn't been involved in the meeting where the new regulations had been discussed, and he had not been kept up to date. When a reporter asked when these new regulations will kick in, he replied,
As I understand it, it goes into effect immediately, without delay.
An extraordinary night of euphoria in Berlin. Within hours of East Germany's decision to let its people go by opening the border to the west, the city erupted in a frenzy of celebration. East German border guards watched as jubilant crowds danced on the infamous Berlin Wall that's divided Europe for a generation. All night, thousands of Berliners from both East and West streamed through the crossing points, and throughout the night our correspondents have been out with them.
It was to Bornholmer-Strasse in the north of the city that most Berliners hurried to check what was happening. It was here in the past that East Germans with permission to travel were filtered in and out of the country. But tonight, there were no filters, no checks. At midnight, the border was thrown open and the crowd surged through the open gates. The border guards withdrew and watched, their amazement matched by the mounting excitement of a people suddenly free to do what they wanted.
This is the middle of the checkpoint. The police are making no attempt to stop people. The gates have been thrown open and thousands of people are pouring over to take a look at a West. In some cases, their first look, and the elation is enormous.
This night is historical, and it played host to so many iconic moments. Can you imagine the joy those people felt? After decades of oppression, they were free. Berlin became one again. Families and friends saw each other for the first time since the wall was put up. Strangers hugged and partied in the streets. People danced on the wall and began to dismantle it with hammers and pickaxes.
Your government seems to be changing every day. Where do you think it's going?
That's the government's problem, he says, not mine. Such an astonishing moment in history. Yeah, what's it feel like to be standing on top of the wall?
It's incredible for me. It's I can't describe really my feelings. It's something unreal for me.
If there is someone who sleeps for 8 weeks and you told him what happened here, he thinks you're crazy. It's unthinkable.
The East Side Gallery is Berlin's way of saying fuck you to this symbol of oppression and division. Over the years, 105 beautiful art pieces have been drawn and painted on the wall by artists from all over the world. It's the world's largest open-air gallery and a must-do when you visit Berlin. Where there was once sorrow, hopelessness and depression, there is now love, culture and joy. It documents a time of joy and euphoria when people had hopes for a better, more freer future. Less than a year after the wall fell, Germany was reunified as one country.
The scene now here at the Brandenburg Gate and the Reichstag in Berlin is unbelievable pandemonium. It's New Year's Eve, the removal of the wall, and unity all in one. Over 1 million people here celebrating a day that they never thought would come.
What does that mean?
What, this?
That, yeah. What do you think the meaning of it is?
Don't take drugs.
We are on the other side of the wall, which is kind of like the crappier stuff, as Leyla was saying. Exhibit A.
I don't know, it's still...
No, what does it
What does that say? Anus is coming. Okay, fair point. Fair enough point.
It is, I think it's all really cool. It's really interesting to see how the people of Berlin like sort of reclaim the wall. And like everyone's just now chilling in no man's land. When like all this nice parks, like all this art, 40 years ago this was very, very different. So it's interesting to see how they've really like made it their own again. Jumping back on the train, we made our way back to Alexanderplatz. Finishing our day where we started at Alexanderplatz.
Not finished yet.
We're going up the Berlin Tower. That's not what it's called, is it? The Berlin TV Tower. It's pretty big. The Berlin TV Tower is the most visible landmark in Berlin. You can see it from just about anywhere in the city, and it's already made it into about half of all the shots you've seen in this film. So it'd be rude not to head up and check out the views from the top.
How are you feeling about this one? I know you're obviously scared of heights, but...
I'm not.
Built between 1965 and 1969 by the DDR, the tower was supposed to be a symbol of communist power in East Berlin. Walking into the lobby, waiting for the lift, those old communist vibes are very clear to see.
Wow.
It is very Cold War, isn't it? Yeah, that's like 1960s being transported back. Yeah.
Beyond the Cold War and through reunification to the present day, the tower has remained an iconic symbol of the city, the trademark of Berlin. At 368 meters high, it's the tallest structure in Germany and the third tallest in the European Union. The views are beautiful.
Yeah, I know, the glare from the windows, it's kind of hard to not get that.
last stop of the day. We are heading to a Syrian restaurant called Yarok. Pretty hungry again. TV tower is sick. Got loads of nice photos as the sun just came down below the clouds. Pretty awesome. Yeah, Syrian food. Should be good.
Your first time?
Maybe. Like one of my first times having Syrian food.
Again, this food is insanely good. Look at this.
It was just, so good. Another successful day in Berlin. That Yarok food was sensational.
Come to Berlin and have Syrian food.
Well, I think, yeah, like that. No, that is kind of the reason.
It's,
like
yeah.
Berlin, the food scene here is so good because it's such a big melting pot of like cultures and all the immigrants and migrants who've like come over different generations and like added something to, like brought something to the table. There's so much good food here. I'm just gonna put it out there, that was another 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I'm giving that 10 out of 10.
sometimes you can have foreign food in a place that, mind the poo.
Oh no, nearly stepped in dog poo.
You can have, what I'm trying to say is,
Watch the poo.
I know, you just kicked it. What I'm trying to say is, you can have foreign food in a country where it's not from.
What?
Okay, so like you can have Syrian food in Germany rather than Syrian food in Syria, obviously.
Yeah.
But it still tastes pretty authentic.
Yeah, that was like.
Because sometimes you'd have like Chinese food in England and it doesn't. I'm not saying.
Yeah, well, British variants of stuff like
the foreign food here is pretty authentic.
is legit. Yeah. Whereas in the UK, it's like take something good and then just add ketchup or something. I don't know. But honestly, that was, for me, that was another 10 out of 10.
Fresh, that's very quick.
That's 2
service.
10s in one day. I don't think I get any better than that. Surely not. What do you give that?
Yeah.
A 10?
A 10.
It's a confirmed double 10 for Yarok. So good. Just needs to walk everywhere to keep burning all this food off. Cool. See you tomorrow.
How can I bless you when you didn't sneeze? I'm a hot boy, that's 100 degrees.
Time after time, only in the night time.